Hey guys, this is the Total Divas After Show on AFTERBUZZ TV. We're breaking down Season 6, Episode 4, Gone Girl. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
'Cause now I'm back. Oh, we love this jam. We love this show, and we love that you all have tuned in live with us on YouTube. Please give us a thumbs up. We're on iTunes and SoundCloud as well. We'd love a 5-star rating. Leave us a little comment. Let us know what you think about our show, about the Total Divas. You know we love it. And like I said, this is all about, yes, Season 6. We're partying it up for Season 6, Episode 4. And there's much to discuss also in our news and gossip segment today. My name is Christy Olson, and you guys can always tweet your Total Divas love to me at Christy Reports. The gang's all here tonight. Finally, Episode 4. We got our OG team back.
Yay.
Hey, Megan Stecher.
Hey guys, it's Megan. I'm here. I'm so excited. I had a great week off for my birthday. I'm so happy to be back.
Happy belated birthday.
And thank you. Tweet me at Megan Stecher.
All right, we will do. And back from last season, Miss Paulina Aguilar is on the
Finally,
panel.
so happy to be back here with you guys. You guys can find me on Twitter at _Paulina Aguilar and on Instagram at Paulina M. Aguilar.
Well, we're glad to have you, girl. And of
Welcome
course,
back.
my twin tonight.
Matching shirts.
I'm liking this at
Jimbo in the booth.
Changing it up. Okay. At Jimbo in the booth. We got James Franck.
Hi.
Mr. Jimbo Franck over there.
Let's do this.
Let's do it. Let's do it up. I gotta be honest
Where
with
can
y'all.
they find you on Twitter?
Oh, at Christy Reports. Did
There
I
we
not
go.
say that? With a C. That gave me a little time because, to be honest with y'all, I just lost my notes, but I think, we're good. We are good.
Thank
yes.
God
so-
for auto recovery.
I know, right? Let's jump right in. And don't worry, I'm also going to get that live chat rolling. I said hello. Everyone's probably wondering where I went. I'm back. I'll be back. I want to hear what you guys all have to say about this episode because there's a lot going on. But this one opens up with Dean and Renee, who we haven't seen together a whole lot yet. It's kind of one of the selling points of the season, Dean Ambrose. All right, I think getting Dean Ambrose doing early morning paddleboard yoga when he's hungover is probably the hook and the only hook that's going to get some hardcore wrestling fans.
Really?
I cannot believe that he would agree to do this on camera.
That was really funny to me.
Is this something that he doesn't usually, he just wouldn't do?
His in-ring character is very aloof.
Okay.
He's the lunatic fringe.
He's a loner dotty, a rebel.
Yes.
I mean, I think that's what's fun about the show is seeing how different they are from their persona. And it's nice for us. I mean, I think obviously there's more of a large female audience watching this show. So she's probably like, come on, Dean, show him that you're not so mean at home, you know? And it's probably nice for him to be like, yeah, let me get some more lady fans.
Actually, I would say Renee probably is deterring in any way that she can the female Dean fans because he has a lot of them. He's very popular with the ladies, and they are not nice to her. Online, she gets a lot of flack from the Dean fans. So maybe this would help. You know, maybe if the rabid lunatic fans can see them being cute together, maybe then they can accept this relationship.
A happy home life.
Right? We shall see.
I thought that this was like something fun to do, but would be very hard to do paddleboard yoga, but especially hungover.
Yeah.
Because
Have
of
you
the waves.
paddleboarded or done yoga?
I've done yoga, and I've like not necessarily like paddleboarded, but I've done like boogie boarding and whatnot. But I can't imagine that would be like, oh, this is easy, you know, like. And hungover, just like the motion of the waves.
And he wasn't
And
even
she
the
was
one
like,
that
if you're
fell
going to
in.
puke, just throw up in the water.
Yeah, it could have happened. It would not be the first time on this show.
On my boobs. No, I'm sorry.
They're a happy couple, as are Brie and Bryan. And I have to say, I've been wondering for several seasons now, what happened to that house in Washington? That was his parents' home that he grew up in. Remember, they talked about living there, and Brie was kind of hesitant about living there, and now we've seen them since in their house in Phoenix. But they still have this place in Aberdeen, Washington. They're hanging out there, and Nikki is going to come and visit for the weekend. They have not seen each other since the big fight. Now, Total Divas fans, I know y'all watch Total Bellas too, and I know you know what we're talking about. But if you don't, Nikki and Bryan had an argument on Total Bellas. It stemmed from the house conversation, but really seemed to be about the fact they're probably just both kind of miserable at that point. So Nikki's gonna come, and Brie is hoping that they can talk it out and be good. We shall see. Meanwhile, Paige has not been on TV for 6 months. And I have to say, we still did not get an explanation about this when it went down, when we didn't see her on TV on WWE. I'm sorry, I've been talking for a very long time. We don't have enough time. I'm trying to get through this. So when we didn't see her on WWE for a while, I wanted an explanation, and I was waiting to get that on Total Divas. Still no real explanation of anything tonight. But she is not happy about not being on TV. Eva also talks to Natty about not being booked, and they cover their ears for a little pyro. Why don't you talk to us about that, Jimbo?
Oh man! So when they did this in the show, I was like, oh, that's crazy. That reminds us when we had Shane Helms on X-Pac 12360. We asked him because when Kane comes out, he like lifts his arms and drops them, and fire comes out of the ring posts. So we're like, oh, when you were tagging with Kane, any bad stuff happened with pyro? And he's like, one time they had me hiding under the ring, and the pyro went off, and it knocked me out cold.
Because of the sound.
Because of the sound.
No way.
Because we were
wild.
like, oh, pyro, and they all just like cover their ears, and we're like, so they don't get knocked out.
So he couldn't even come out to do his own match?
No, I think he
came
too, but he was like all thrown off.
Oh my god.
It's great. So they are not kidding around with that pyro. And Mark Carrano's not kidding around either. Eva talks to him. She's concerned about not being booked. And I thought this was so funny. His basically his only response was, "You're our very special person."
Oh, we'll hear that. We'll hear that from him again later on in the episode.
Yeah. I mean, that's a nice compliment coming from your boss, but I don't think it's what Eva needed to hear.
I like how he's like, I don't want to lie to you.
That I could appreciate.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like he's very direct, and sometimes I feel like he's very beat around the bush, and it's got to be so frustrating to be one of his employees. Like, Mark, just tell me what's up, because he loves, oh well, like when Maryse showed back up, and they're like, just tell us why she's in the locker room today, and he's like, well, we'll just see how things pan out today.
Do you think that's for the cameras?
I don't know.
I think everything's changing on a minute-to-minute basis there. And he knows he doesn't want to make any promises, and he also knows that the minute he says something, it's going to change.
Yeah. And he wants to be nice to everybody. Mm-hmm. He can't play favorites, so to speak. So he's got to make sure that everyone likes him, and everyone's like, oh, hey, Mark, how's it going? What news do you have for me, whether it's good or bad? So.
News. Well, speaking of news, Paige has some news, guys. She's in love. She shows up with Alberto Del Rio to this little party. She's now engaged to him.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what
I didn't know if you
Yes.
talked about her last engagement.
Oh, no.
Oh, oops.
Yeah,
Whoopsie.
no, she is now engaged to Alberto Del Rio,
Who is married?
who is still married to his current wife and mother of his children. And we were talking about this in our news and gossip segment. He has said that they're not legally allowed to show his likeness and use his voice and stuff. And we saw more of him and heard more from him tonight than I thought we were going to, which I appreciated. But man, seeing Paige be all mushy, squishy, what do you guys think of this? Do you buy it?
I can't believe anything that she does anymore. I think it'd be just because of what we've seen from her past relationships, how it goes so fast and then it blows up and then it's done and then she doesn't know what to do and then she wants to be engaged and then she doesn't. It's so flip-flop that I'm just like, I'll wait till... It's more of like, when it happens, then I'll believe it type of thing.
I think with this relationship, it seems like she likes getting into them when things aren't perfect or because it's exciting at the moment, and you're right, it blows up as in like fizzles really quickly for her, I think usually. So I don't think this was a healthy time for her to start a relationship. As you were saying, like the 6 months, like what is going on with her? It seems like they were cutting out a lot of stuff that would have filled us in on that tonight. So I don't think it was a good time to start this, and I don't think it probably not a healthy relationship because she's not healthy in a lot of ways right now, I think.
I feel like she kind of just runs away when things get hard. Like when things get hard, she seems very frustrated, and then she second guesses everything about the relationship, and that's when it just deteriorates.
I think Summer Rae's face said it the best. When she like walked in with Del Rio and then she sits down and she's like kissing Del Rio, Summer's face was just like in disgust. And I like asked Christy, I was like, you think she's the only one that knows like he's still married and that's why she's looking at him like that? Because it wasn't brought up tonight.
I'm sure they all know.
I think, I'm sure that they probably do all know, and I don't think that they will be bringing it up on this show. I mean, hello! Don't you all know that the AFTERBUZZ Total Divas panel is going to tell everybody because we inform the fans?
I don't think we'll see him anymore.
Oh,
I think that was like
because
all
maybe
they
that's
had him
while he
signed
was
out.
under contract.
Yeah, I think that's all they had of him, and they gave it to us now. And like, we might hear about him, but we won't see him at all. Even when she gets the tattoo, which they teased in like the first coming up on this season.
You might be right about that. I bet
I
you're
think
right.
they got it all out right now.
That's why we got to see him. Jay Ruiz in the chat says Paige and Del Rio were together since he came back, according to her. That is what she said tonight. And Paulina, everyone's glad to see you back.
Yay! Thank you, guys.
Montserrat said I think Paige and Alberto make a cute couple. That's interesting.
Really?
Yeah, not a lot of people. There's usually such a negative reaction, I feel like, to their relationship, and I know that's been my reaction. So
Right.
that's great. Some people like to see them together. Oh, Jess said I miss Summer Rae. Another sentiment we don't
I
hear
do
very
like her,
often.
actually.
Who have
Not
y'all been
gonna
drinking
lie.
in the chat roll? What's going on? What's going on?
I'm enjoying our new additions this year. I don't miss Summer, I have to say.
Well, speaking of new additions, Maryse and Eva, whose friendship is expectedly blossoming, are hanging out. They're drinking Dom Perignon, although it didn't look like Eva ever did, actually. There was one that seemed like it wasn't bubbly with water, and we've seen her struggles in the past. I was curious when Maryse brought out the 2 glasses, what was going to go down. I was watching
that's a really
carefully.
I
good
forgot
point.
about that part,
Yeah.
actually.
That's a
Me
really
too.
good point.
Yeah, but they're chatting about Maryse lets Eva know that she has also been cast in Marine 5. This is the movie that Naomi is going to Canada to shoot also. And Eva, I liked her, I could appreciate her reaction because it wasn't a spiteful thing, but she was definitely honest about like, oh man, that makes me know that I have to kind of kick it in the butt and what can I do? And Maryse gives her this advice like, you gotta just grab life by the you-know-whats and get yourself to TV and make sure you are not forgotten about. It's good advice.
I have to say, I love Maryse. I thought she was going to be like the villain character. I know I kept saying that in the first couple of episodes and we didn't get a lot of her. I love her. I love her boss lady vibes. I love her like, Ms., I'll tell you what, I'm not your wife stay-at-home lady. I am a boss. Like, I love everything about her. I love her look. I love the hands. I've been working on it. They're not right yet, but I'm gonna get it. No, I loved her advice. Obviously, it kind of worked out for Eva in the end, whether or not it was a faux storyline.
Do the hands for our chat roll.
Wait.
Do the hands.
It's not good. It's not good yet. It's not good yet.
You got to get the. There you go.
No, I got to get the whole thing.
Yeah.
No, I love her.
I love that house. That house is amazing. Holy cow!
I could
wanna
just
see
live there.
I want to see a Cribs about that place.
Yeah, because I suspect that they fixed it up, and I would love to see the journey that they took along that, and
Shabby
that they
chic.
survived that. A lot of couples apparently break up over home renovations.
That's true. Well, they do them together all the time, apparently, flipping. So they're pros.
Yeah, no update on that tonight, but I assume we've not heard the last of the.
That'll
of the
be towards
house
the end
flipping
of the
project.
It'd be fun to get an update on it. Yeah.
Yeah. Nikki arrives in Washington where Brie tells her, do not bring up wrestling around Daniel Bryan. I wasn't surprised to hear her say that. It seems kind of par for the course for the way that she's been handling Bryan with kind of plastic gloves.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not surprised.
No. Would have you guys gone along with this?
I mean, if I were Nikki, well, yeah, it's her husband. I mean, whatever she wants, I'll do. And out of respect of their marriage and what he's going through, I would have listened. I wouldn't have brought it up.
But she did the opposite.
I would have. If that was my sister's husband, be like, I don't know your business at home. You know more about what he's going through than I do. If you don't want me to, then you don't want me to. Then that's fine.
Like, I would have not breathed a word. Like, if
Yeah.
she thought that was best for him, I would have been like, God, yeah, if he's feeling any better and that was the cause,
Right.
let me not say a word. I don't want to upset anything. Like, I wouldn't have said anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously,
and you
I'm
don't
not
know how
Nikki.
sensitive it could be. I mean,
I thought it was funny because she's like, "Yeah, I'm excited to be here. I can't wait to talk to Bryan about my comeback and my moves." And oh yeah, don't talk to Bryan about wrestling at all.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm here. Was basically what she did then. Because then she's like the little kid you would bring around, like, "Hey, what's that?" You know, like just to ask things so it's not like awkwardly quiet. Like, "Oh, you like to drink out of cups? Okay." You know, like it was so weird. You could see she's like trying to make conversation. He's like looking at her like, "What are you talking about?" And she's like, "Because I don't know what to talk to you about." You know, like plants. You like plants. You
Well,
know?
speaking of plants, Nikki decides that she needs to get an olive branch
This was
for
so
Daniel
funny.
Bryan. And I mean, I'm gonna have to file this one away for my future Bella blunders because Brie did not know this whole extending an olive branch means the apology and the friendship thing.
She's
Doesn't
like, "I
she
don't like
watch Real
ranch."
Housewives?
No ranch for me. Sorry.
No ranch, no branch, none of the above. Meanwhile, the girls are, the WWE girls are talking about Paige and how she missed live events all weekend. The only explanation they have is that she said she needed some time. this is where we have a little cameo from AfterBuzz TV's own Lillian Garcia. Yes. Ooh, we're doing that a lot tonight. I like it. Star of Lillian Garcia making their way to the ring, a fantastic wrestling news and interview show, which we've had Brie Bella on a few weeks ago here, so make sure you check that out on AfterBuzz TV. And Lillian's talking to Renee backstage, and she has to be the one to tell Renee, who is one of Paige's friends, that she heard Paige is moving in with Del Rio. So Lillian drops this little news bomb. I actually, a few weeks ago when we were doing mock tapings for Lillian's show and I had my news segment with her, I remember giving the news report during that show that Paige had gotten the Alberto Del Rio tattoo. And Lillian was like so surprised and kind of like, oh my gosh, really? So I wasn't sure how much she knew about this whole situation. So I love to see her tonight and kind of like giving the tidbits. It made me want to text Lillian and be like, what else do you know, girl? What do you know, girl?
You were holding out on me.
But we do love to see Lils. But what do you guys think? If you were Renee, would you be angry that Paige didn't let you know that she's moving in with this guy? That you had to hear it from someone else?
Yes and no. On one end, it is her business. You know, if that's what she wants to do, that's what she wants to do. On the other hand, if she were that close of a friend, then yeah, I would not want to hear from somebody else. I would want her to tell me, especially if something's going on and she's not feeling well and she's out for the weekend. She took all these extra days and blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. You know, as a friend, you do want to be there for her and you want to be supportive and you want to kind of want to be that shoulder that she can lean on. So yeah, I would be upset.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I just think it depends on how close their relationship is.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of people on this show seem like they're best friends,
but they're not.
But you don't really know.
Yeah.
At all. So, like if it would have came from like Natty, I would have been like, oh, that makes sense because Natty's like the den mom, and Natty was there when she was about to get her tattoo and leave, and Natty's been there for her a lot, so it would have made more sense for me to be Natty. It being Renee, maybe it's because Renee is new to this season. I didn't buy it as much, I guess.
Yeah.
And it seemed like Renee didn't even want to do it. Like, she's like, oh, I can't just hide from her, and, like, I have to look her in the eye, and I should probably go over and talk to her. And it was just like,
well,
she was
but
being
that is the
forced.
mature thing to do.
It is the mature thing to do, but she was, like, being forced to do it when she, like, didn't, like, as if production was like, okay, you need to go make up with her right now.
Let's talk about the fight that went down. Or not really even a fight. It was just kind of a very contentious conversation, which Paige left the park, stomping out of the park, telling Renee, you can carry my bag.
She littered her cup.
She did. She totally did.
Not
but you know
okay.
what? I'm not one to be Team Paige, but I thought in this situation, Renee, the things that Renee was saying, like we've been talking about it, and we are so concerned, and it wasn't the way I think to approach Paige if Paige's mindset was everyone's just trying to talk about me. Mm-hmm. Renee, I think maybe would have made more headway with her had she come from a standpoint of just, I'm concerned. Right. I've been thinking about this because I know you and I'm concerned.
And you know what? Even if Paige told her the real reason, all she could have said was been like, you know what, the girls don't need to know, me as your friend, I just want to make sure that you're okay and I don't need to go back and report to them. And if any of the girls asked, all she could have said was, well, she just needed some time off, but she's okay. And leave it at that.
Right. She certainly doesn't sound like she's okay, and neither, according to Brie, is Daniel Bryan. So when Nikki tries to bring up to him coaching when they're at the wine tasting, Brie distracts her, and I thought this ended very hilariously. Brie makes this comparison to Nikki, like, well, that would be like me coming back and doing the rack attack, which didn't make sense to me either. And Nikki's response was, that doesn't even make sense. Agreed.
It really didn't. She was really digging for something. Good try, Brie. I don't know. Those two were just fighting like cats and dogs every week. I love it.
I love how she was like, yeah, and when I come back, I'm going to use the rack attack as my finisher. How will you feel then? And then she walked away like that was her mic drop, and Nikki was just like, that's stupid, and it makes no sense at all. You're done.
She's like, maybe it's the wine.
Like, that was so funny.
I think it probably was. Eva shows up backstage at SmackDown. She runs into Maryse. They're dressed similarly. Surprise, surprise, considering the fact they're probably all getting free clothes from the same people. Which is what happens when you finally start becoming famous and rich enough to buy your own clothes. People give them to you for free. But she runs into Road Dogg. He's a little perturbed. He's surprised to see her there. He's wants to know what she's doing. And I thought this was interesting. These are the tidbits that we like to get about the pro wrestling business. And he tells her, I commend you for showing up tonight, but it could kind of be seen as trying to go into business for yourself. Like, it's a little bit too lady ballsy, as maybe Stephanie McMahon would say. It did make me nervous to know that she was going to go do this, and I wasn't sure how he was going to react. What did you guys think of this?
I think this is one of those like catch-22s that, like, depending on the person who does it and who sees it, it's either like, yeah, this person wants this. Look at how hard they're working. They paid their own money to fly themselves out here to show their face and get us noticing them again. Or it's like, look at this guy. He thinks he could just show up to TV even though he's not booked. So it all depends on who you are and, like, who's friendly with you backstage and whatnot. But Matt Sydal, who used to wrestle for the WWE, who now wrestles independently, he was in developmental, and they weren't doing anything with him, sitting in Florida. And he was like, hey, I'm going to be in St. Louis. My brother's graduating college or whatever. I'm just going to show up at Raw. And they're like, no, don't come. And he's like, no, I'm already going to be in St. Louis. And he showed up at Raw, was backstage. They needed someone to go out and do something, and he was on TV the next week and for then on. Wow. So, and like somebody, like he brought that up in an interview, and someone's like, you could never do that today. If Mojo Rawley flew himself from Tampa to Raw and was like, hey guys, I'm here from NXT, everyone would be like, what the hell is the matter with you? Like, you don't belong here. You're not on the roster. And that's a good way to rub people the wrong way and get people that are there in the locker room to be like, what the hell is this guy's problem? Is he trying to take my spot kind of thing? So it's weird. Like, I think she did the right thing, and obviously it worked out for her, but Christy brought up that this could possibly be a storyline. I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah, and actually our chat roll just chimed in too and said that whole segment was fake.
Yeah, I feel like it was too. It's like a little too easy to be like, hey, I'm wrestling tonight and I have all my gear. It's like,
well, you always bring your gear. That's like rule number 1.
So it seemed phony to me that he's like, do you have your gear? Well, of course she has her gear. She flew across the country to try to get on TV.
What made me think it was a storyline was when she came out, because we've seen that entrance and how awesome it is with the voiceover. We're like, there's no way they banged out that whole new voiceover and new video package in like a half hour. No way.
Yeah, it's actually a whole production. I think this probably was kind of a practice round. Maybe it probably was the first time they did it. It was probably a live show. They just had the announcer do it. But what she has now, she walks out and it's this voiceover, big booming voiceover about talking about how great she is. It really has an impact.
Yeah. So, who knows?
Who knows? Well, she got her big match. She got her moment anyway. But what's going on with Paige? Mark Carrano is looking for her backstage, and this was so interesting. What the conversation that went down between the two of them. She's frustrated. I'm sorry, I skipped Renee. Nope, we got that. We're good. All right, Carrano, he's pretty caring. He tells her, you're paid to be here. She's like, I'm not going to be on TV anyway. What does it matter? Which was so childish, but he reminds her you're being paid to be here. And this whole, if you play your cards right, you could be retiring at 31, and telling her that he cares about her so much and he's been pulling for her. I bought that.
He said
I think
a lot
he was
of
being
the same
genuine.
lines he said to Eva to her, though.
He did tell
But I think
Paige
he's
that
very
she was
genuine
special.
about it. This conversation made me like him even more. And I hardly get to see him around. So, I mean,
I don't see Carrano around?
I think it's genuine. I think he really does care about his girls, though. I mean, it was kind of childish for her to show up late. It's irresponsible. She does get paid to be there, so I would have the same attitude and I'd be just as pissed. It's true. She gets paid to be there, so show up on time. And she asked for the days off that she wanted to be off before that, so why can't you show up? If you need more time, call, communicate.
When he asked why she didn't make her flight and she said, I just didn't want to get on the plane, I was like, if that was Vince McMahon, he'd probably fire you right now.
Oh, yeah.
And then on top of that, it's like Eva's flying herself to shows to try and get booked, and you're like, I just didn't want to get on the plane. Like, come on. Step your game up.
Let's think about... Well, what really gets me about this is that the only explanation for this breakdown seems to be that she's upset over her career and the fact that she hasn't been being used on TV. listen, it's the pro wrestling business. People come and go. They get a push. Then they have to be off TV for a while so people forget about them so that they can come back in a big way. Maybe
they have
even
to
bigger
rebrand
and better.
themselves, it seems
She's
like.
gotten so much. She debuted, correct me if
She
I'm wrong, right?
debuted
The
the
day
night
after
WrestleMania and beat the
won
women's
the
champion.
belt in her debut. What
Huge.
more could she want? You can't keep that momentum going for your entire career. And we were just talking to someone today,
Gowen.
another star named Zach Gowen, who he said, he was about 20 or so.
20 years old.
And he, admittedly, he says, didn't behave himself very well backstage and didn't treat people very well. And he said, it was really just a case of too much too soon. And I think that's absolutely what's going on with Paige as well. And she's going to have to woman up a little bit and deal with it. You're not always going to be the A+ center of attention.
Well, and where she comes from in her wrestling family, like she's always been involved in wrestling and her family ran that promotion. So I'm sure she was always the center of attention. You're the flagship person. You're someone we could always rely on. You get the title kind of thing. And now then she went to WWE with all this hype and then does that on her debut on Raw. Fast forward to now, and she's like, why aren't I still the women's champ? Like, what the F? And they're like, no, well, we have all these other women that we want to showcase that when they get to your level, then we'll bring you back to feud with them to keep the story going. But she doesn't want to hear that. She just, no, well, why aren't I on TV? I'm not on TV.
so
Well, I'm going to go
upset.
cause some mischief, so you'll put me on TV, kind of thing.
Right? Our chat roll agrees. AJ0314 says Paige not being used on TV after being hella used for the first 2 years since being on the main roster. Oh, poor thing. I'm pretty sure AJ's being sarcastic there. MX Jane A, sorry if I'm butchering that, said, do you think Paige will ever wrestle for WWE again? And that's very interesting because she is dealing with a second wellness policy violation right now. She's been out for 60 days, but that ends this week. Maybe even...
And
no, I think maybe Friday. But
I think
it
those are
ends
3
this week.
strikes you're out, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And let's not forget, we reported on this during Total Bellas, but this was a situation where she claimed it was prescription drugs that she was using because she was injured, and WWE released a statement and actually said, no, that is not the case. So a lot of drama we can't forget surrounding her, and she even made a comment in the conversation with Renee about, I'm going to walk away from this company and only have a few friends left or whatever, but she makes it sound like it's up to her. There were reports around that time that WWE was going to fire her. I mean, I don't think she will be getting back in a WWE ring.
Speaking of drama, I think they shot this with just the camera shooting nothing and you could only hear them talking with Paige and Carano to make it more dramatic and seem like, no, they didn't want the cameras in there. Like, we weren't supposed to hear this conversation, but we're letting you guys hear it. Just to give it that feel of oh, wow, this is really real right now. And then when she came out and she told the camera guy, don't film me for a little bit because she was crying or whatever.
See, that's why I bought it.
Yeah.
I thought maybe she was the one who was like, you're not filming this.
Yeah, I thought it was legit that almost Mark forgot that she had a mic on because he said he cursed at her and they had to bleep it out. I was like, oh, this is not for the cameras, Mark Carano. He was giving her the business. Anyway.
He was,
Yeah.
but he does seem to overall care quite a bit, as does Daniel Bryan. Brie, and Nikki go and try out some new moves with no mat. Bryan's throwing Brie all over the place.
so
This
great.
was pretty good.
It was better than
Hilarious.
knocking her in the face with his elbow, though.
I wonder if this was when she was very early pregnant too. It was maybe before that because I've lost track of how pregnant she is right now. 19 weeks?
Yeah, she's due in
19
April.
weeks? Okay.
We gotta do the backwards math.
We're I was thinking wow, if she was very early on pregnant, we're whoa, slow down, Bryan. But she probably wasn't. I don't know.
She was drinking. I don't think she knew.
Oh yeah,
that's true.
good point.
She
Good
wasn't
point.
drinking. She wasn't
Good point.
pregnant.
I'm always trying to figure out the timelines on all
I
this from
know.
living it the last 6 months.
When it airs and all
yeah. So I'm always trying to sleuth that, but I try not to ruin it for myself or for you guys too much either. Sometimes we break that wall a little bit too much.
Their braids looked excellent.
They looked beautiful during that hike. Both
Yeah.
of them look amazing in
So
braids. Is that
So
Honeybee
good.
Eileen's work, or is there a separate hairstylist?
I think Honeybee Eileen does do hair, but she doesn't usually. She's usually just the makeup.
Okay.
Then they bring in someone else.
Yeah, they looked gorgeous.
As
I like to
usual.
say.
Oh,
Bourgeois.
yeah?
That's a new
Okay.
word.
As usual. So Nikki's gonna get a brand new moveset courtesy of Daniel Bryan.
Yes. Yes.
It was funny too because when they're having the wine and he brings it up, And she's like, I'm not allowed to talk about this with you. And then like, why not? And Brie's like, she's like, well, Brie told me not to. And he's like, looks at Brie, and Nikki's like, I'm gonna go drink my wine outside now. You guys enjoy this. Like she pulled the pin and dropped the grenade and was like, have a good one.
Well, I thought it was like him making up with her outside was really sweet.
Yeah.
And he was like, let's hug. I was like, eh.
Yeah,
That really seemed genuine.
Yeah, like it seemed like he knew like that was how they connect. So Brie trying to be like, no, don't bring that up because it makes him feel bad. He's like, no, because this is how me and your sister connect.
Yeah.
This is the bond that her and I have. And that was like, let's hug it out, and yes, I'll come help you with your moveset.
But he wants to be involved.
Yeah. But at the same time, he wants to be involved, but like on his terms. Like he wants to be involved and help her train, but he doesn't want to be told, you need to show up to the performance center at 9 a.m. and teach a class to a bunch of rookies that you've never met before.
Yeah.
And,
that's a great point.
have fun not being in wrestling, but showing all these people how to wrestle kind of thing.
That's a great point, because I remember from Total Bellas, I'm thinking like, well, he didn't really want to hang out and instruct anyone. So it's kind of
because that's the difference between like in Total Bellas, when he's doing that stuff with Sami Zayn, it's because that's his buddy. He's known him for like 20 years. It's just like, hey, check out this move I learned, as opposed to like, hey, see this kid you never met? Get in there and show him how to do rolls.
Share
show him
your
how to,
wisdom with him.
Teach him stuff that he's never heard before. And like he might bring up like, oh, well, do you know this hold? And I don't know what that hold is. And that could like piss someone like that off. Like, what, you don't do your research? Like, you don't know about like our history? And like, well, let me guess, you're a model? Like that. I can see how easily it could just get like the ball rolling in the wrong direction.
The chat roll is going nuts over Nikki's braids too. They're reminding us
so good.
That was the same look she was rocking at TLC on Sunday on the pay-per-view.
I feel bad because a lot of people were like, uh-oh, watch out, Daria, because Daria has the hair up, square up thing, and she braids her hair back, and someone did like a picture with the two of them. So I'm like,
Am I the
hopefully
only
it's not
one
like,
that did not pay attention to the braids?
Oh, I mean, I love them.
this is your
yep, it sure
straight
sounds that
male
way,
perspective
Paulina.
right here. pointing it out.
Male perspective. Well, you know, Lana has started rocking these all the time as well.
True that.
So I feel like it's now the new Backstage look for the girls. It's like you're not cool, you're not in the clique if you're not rocking those braids.
Oh, because it's like two dudes, because when you take them out, then your hair's
And
curly,
it's like
right?
real pretty, yeah.
Super cute.
Are you surprised I know
Look at
this?
this guy over here.
Straight
Yeah, and I'm
male
like, what braids are you talking about? Jeez.
Straight male perspective.
Though the thing about it is that I can't do that to myself
Me
with
either.
anything.
No,
and
neither.
I don't think so. I think pretty much just people who have their hair professionally done are the ones that can really rock this well. Well, guys, do you have anything that you would like to add about this episode?
I love when Brian's like, I'm not going to take a selfie with you. Like, and she's like, can we hug? And he's like, I'm not going to take a selfie with you.
That was a
So
good
good.
punchline.
He didn't want to get one of those selfie rashes that she had.
But I love the moves he taught her. They were really cool. And I feel so bad whenever you see their elbows. Their elbows are just so thrashed from taking bumps. I just feel awful. Like, oh, that's gotta hurt. That you can't walk around like functioning without that hurting still. Because like it's always bruised and bad. And that's like such a sensitive area. Like, think about when you hit your funny bone, how bad that hurts.
Yeah. I mean,
Imagine
it's probably
falling on that all the time.
something you get used to, though. Like, if it's always, like
Like
a
you
sore
build
bruise
the callus
there,
so you don't
might,
even
like,
notice.
the nerves might deaden and you might not even notice.
Yeah, Cena, I mean, basically had like a huge ball, right? When he had that elbow surgery a couple of seasons ago.
Yeah, that's because it was
remember,
like a
this
staph
big.
infection.
Oh, was it?
Ooh.
Oh,
It was some kind of infection to make it blow up like that for sure.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Ew. Next subject. Ew.
Ow. Well, guys, let's move on to some news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Eva Marie is on the December cover of Millennium magazine. This marks her first cover as a brunette. You all know she's not rocking that red hair. Well, she keeps going back and forth, but she changed it for a couple of movie roles. And she gave an interview to the magazine as well, where she finally reveals how she got these 2 movie roles. Remember, one is with Nicolas Cage, really big deal. So can't wait to get my hands on that and see how she landed those. Major drama in the Twitterverse, though, this week with Naomi Trinity from the show. See, the WWE Universe tweeted out a photo of what was supposed to be the Total Divas cast congratulating Total Divas on their nomination for a Win Awards Best Reality TV nomination. And the picture featured Alicia Fox instead of Trinity, and some of the new girls also. And the fans latched onto this right away and asked her what the deal was. She herself even tweeted and said, "Where's my picture though?" And then retweeted some really stern things from fans. And she even said, "I'm over all the BS. I give my all." When really I think that this was probably an honest oversight, and WWE says that it was. The nomination is actually for season 5, which did feature Alicia Fox instead of Trinity. So this could be an honest mistake, but absolutely Trinity is one of the faces of this program, one of the favorite stars, I think, and I'm not surprised that she was upset about this. I feel bad for her a little bit. Yeah.
They need someone in their poster department because that's like the 3rd poster they've screwed up in like a month.
Yes, a couple other stars were mad about being left off.
They forgot to put
Cesaro
on the poster for Switzerland, and they put 2 of one guy's face.
Oh
accident.
My God.
And then they forgot to put Sin Cara on the poster for Mexico.
Maybe they were hungover.
Kalisto.
Yeah.
Maybe they were hungover at work.
They were out drinking with Dean Ambrose the night before.
No negativity at his bar.
No. Well, I'll tell you what Brie and Nikki are up to because it's all over their brand new YouTube channel. This week, some really cute videos where Brie and Bryan take a look at her old wrestling gear. And Nikki and John have a date night. She goes and visits him while he's shooting a movie. They have some absinthe. It's really cute. So make sure you check those out. Meanwhile, WWE's YouTube channel has a really cute clip from Renee's interview with John Cena that she did for the WWE Network, where she asked him about Nikki Bella. And he just says some really sweet stuff. He says Nikki taught him to be a better human being. And she also taught him not to leave the toilet seat up, which has been a good thing for everyone in the home.
Of all the crazy things that he's anal about, and he leaves the toilet seat up.
I was going to say.
Shocking, right?
He seems like the type of person that would build a second toilet in the bathroom and like have them housed off and be like, "This is mine, that's yours. I'm not doing what you tell me to do." John, if you're putting the lid down for her, congratulations.
Vanderpump style bathrooms.
Yeah,
is what you would expect. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a fun little tidbit. And I know Linda McMahon is not on this show, but big time girl power WWE news. This is Vince McMahon, the everything of the WWE, should we just call him? His wife, Linda McMahon, has been nominated by Donald Trump as Administrator of the Small Business Administration. So, I mean, I'm not one to talk about having a long, juicy title because I got one too. That's right. Congratulations, Linda. She gave millions of dollars, donated millions to his campaign, and she herself has run for office 2 times. So she was gunning for this, and it'll be really cool to see her having this position. Couple more things here. Lana has not been in the ring since you guys saw her on the premiere at that WrestleMania match. She was Team Total Divas for the kickoff show. She has not been seen wrestling on TV since. That's a lie. She wrestled Brie a couple times after that or something, or was that before? Anyway, it's been a really long time. Around that time was the last time she did. And she announced just a couple hours ago on Twitter that she is returning to the ring. She has singles matches at NXT shows in St. Petersburg and Winter Haven, Florida, tomorrow and Friday. That's Thursday and Friday. So we were just, can't remember if we were saying this on the air, Jimbo, or we just talk a lot of wrestling, if we were wondering this some other time. But we were saying, like, remember when Lana was a wrestler? Mm-hmm. Or maybe that was even you.
Yeah, that was you.
Yeah, okay.
You brought that
That
up.
was me. One more little tidbit here. Renee Young has launched a brand new podcast with Canadian comedian Stacey McGonigal. You can check it out on iTunes. It's called Regular Girls, and it's not wrestling related. So I haven't had a chance to check it out yet, but I know a lot of y'all are Renee Young fans out there, so make sure you subscribe. And on that note, we're going to do a little bit of total throwback before we roll into predictions. So, I've become a terrible judge of what's easy or hard, so I honestly, I don't know if you guys are going to get this one or not. But since we saw Paige's new boyfriend tonight, and this will be the 3rd one we've seen on the show, I believe, at least.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Yes.
So let's rewind back to season 4 when we first got introduced to Paige. Do you guys remember the name of her first boyfriend?
Oh, jeez.
Was
there
this
multiple
the
choice?
one?
No.
Was this the one who she went to his family's
And they got in a fight.
house and they got in a fight and she split.
I thought that was the second one.
That was the first one. Nope, second one was the engagement that went awry.
You're right.
That was the guy in the band, right?
You're right.
Okay.
The first one. I have a letter in my head.
I can only think of one boyfriend's name, but I think it might be the wrong guy. I think it might be the engagement guy.
You want to go for it anyway?
Kevin?
Is
That
she
was
right,
the
guys?
second.
That was the second guy.
That was the
engagement
second.
guy. The fiance guy.
I want to say like Matt.
Kevin was the first boyfriend, y'all.
Get it, girl.
I swore it was the fiance.
I thought it was the second
I
one.
can literally hear her saying his name in my
You guys
head.
are making me
Evan.
concerned now.
Evan.
I
I thought
just
it was
I
Greg.
double checked this one
it was
tonight.
I'm like,
You
is
know
he a
what, you
G?
guys?
Samsonite. I was way off.
You guys, I watched the thing from the episode. I watched the little. Kevin was the second one.
Oh,
Brad was
I was
the
about to
mama's
say
boy.
to tell you that you're wrong.
And she left him
Brad.
because he was married. This has never happened before. I don't even know what to do.
No, that is right.
Everybody wins.
Kevin's the second guy, and Brad is the first.
No, I've literally never been wrong about anything about Total Divas.
We'll just throw
on the
this
air
week out. We'll throw this
in
week
over
out.
3.5. You know, it started off poorly, I gotta say, with the whole thing. And I look forward to doing this show every single week. I get excited about talking to you guys
You
about
did
it,
fine.
talking to the fans, and I let that throw me
Womp,
off.
womp, womp.
I can't
It's
believe
okay.
that
We're
this just
having
happened.
technical
You're good.
difficulties tonight.
Is there another question? I feel like I want to.
You're all gonna get double points. Well, we also saw
I'm
JoJo.
at like -5.
We saw JoJo tonight. Did you guys
didn't-
even
she
notice?
didn't- was
She
she
was
being
at the
announced?
party. She was at the party for Naomi.
I miss that.
I missed that too.
Do you guys remember her from season 1?
Oh yeah, I remember
No.
JoJo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember her second talent besides wrestling? What else was she trying to do?
That girl can sing.
There it is.
I was just gonna say it had to be singing because what else?
What else would she do?
Yeah.
I think she got pulled off the show because she was too young.
She was like 19
She
years
was like
old at that
19
point.
and they're always out drinking and stuff.
Yeah,
And I'm
so
sure
is Paige.
WWE was just like too risky.
Mm-hmm.
Get a shot of you with something in your hand, even if you were holding it for somebody else.
Yeah.
That's bad PR for us.
Right.
So they're probably like, oh, we're gonna take you off the show.
Well, you guys, I'm so embarrassed for getting this incorrect
Don't
and
be
for
embarrassed.
screwing everything up.
She worked so
I'm
hard all
sad
week.
in my
Is that
heart.
hilarious? That I think that's funny.
I'm sad in my heart that this has happened tonight on the Total Divas
You had
after
a Christy
show.
blunder.
Can we call it
Christy
that?
blender.
Can we call it that? I usually say C mode, but that means something entirely different. Let's be real. Let's have some predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV.
Predicciones. So we saw a pretty good tease for next week, which included Renee, Rusev and Lana making wedding plans, Renee and Dean throwing a little party, and Maryse and The Miz dealing with what looked like a very dangerous, scary situation. What do you guys think's gonna go down?
Does Dean not like Nikki? Because
Apparently
that's the
not.
vibe that I got, and I don't know the history between that.
I don't know the
if you
history
guys-
either, but apparently not.
I
They
wonder
don't
what the
want to
deal with that
invite
seemed to be the
her
implication.
type of thing. I feel like that's kind of awkward, but I really want to know why.
Well, last season were they all on vacation together, or was only Brie and Bryan there?
Nikki was there as well. That
I
was
thought
in
it was
Mexico.
like
Maybe
road
something
trip,
happened
margaritas.
there that they never made up over, that we didn't get to see.
Maybe it's like, you know how Brie told Maryse, like, my husband always told me, like, you're mean to me and, like, you treat me bad and I shouldn't be friends with you. Maybe that's what, like, Dean says to Renee about Nikki.
Oh.
Well,
Just
we better
speculations.
we better
I
get some
think
details.
we'll
Just
find out.
speculations, people.
I think we'll find out what the beef is.
Oh, we're definitely gonna find out because like he's like no negativity at my bar. That's the only thing I got from that. And then when Maryse is like firing rounds off at the shooting range, I was like, oh yeah, okay. Like,
That's gonna be. I'm
That's
excited
where we're headed, huh?
to see that. Yes, for sure. And now we're finally gonna get. We didn't get a lot of Lana on this episode, and we haven't seen a whole lot of Rusev yet. So we're finally gonna get to see their wedding plans. We know they end up deciding to do 2 weddings. Come to a bit of a compromise. But what's most interesting here, she's talking about. She's like, your mom. I'm not getting married in Bulgaria for your mom, or your mom's not making the decisions. So is there maybe some in-law drama?
I think we're gonna see like the men look like jerks next week. Like Rusev is gonna look like a jerk because he's not compromising with his wifey or fiance, and I think Dean's gonna look like a jerk fighting with Nikki. I think it's well. What else do we expect? The show is called Total Divas, so it's about the
Snap,
ladies.
snap,
It's about
snap.
the ladies.
Snap, snap. Well, guys, I don't even know what to do. what to say
you, Steven.
anymore. I can't. Yeah, let's just wrap it up. I'm so disappointed in myself. Please
Where's the
come back
disappointing
next
button?
week and give us another chance to be perfect and all-knowing about Total Divas. In the meantime, guys, if they want to hit you up and chat about Total Divas, where can they do that at, Jimbo?
Follow me on Twitter at Jimmo in the Booth and check out the Xpac12360 podcast. Yeah.
You guys can find me on Twitter at _Paulina Aguilar and on Instagram at Paulina M. Aguilar.
And you guys can find me on Snapchat, Instagram, and Twitter. Go to my Snapchat and Instagram tonight to see photos from the red carpet at Office Christmas Party.
Yeah, tell everybody real quick who you talked to
fun.
tonight, please.
Jennifer Aniston and Olivia Munn, just to name a few.
I love it. I love it. We're doing big things here at AfterBuzz TV, y'all. And you have to check out Lillian Garcia making their way to the ring. Like I said, we had Brie that first week, Tori Wilson, Trish Stratus, very juicy from this week. So make sure you check out Lillian's brand new show and follow the entire AfterBuzz TV team at AfterBuzz TV. Thanks for hanging out with us in the live chat. We'll see you next week. Adios.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz
See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.